You guys all set?
So you good, Don?
Yeah, sir.
Yep, we're good.
Before I get started, I want you to understand I have family with this young man in this room. I want you to understand too that some of the questions you may ask, I'm not going to be able to answer. It's still an ongoing investigation. But, on February the 11th of this year at approximately 1:42 a.m., Communications received 7 different 911 calls about shots being fired at the Spring Valley apartment complex on Concert Way in Bowling Springs. As deputies headed toward the Concert Way, 911 came in from a Tydrick Fleming stating that he and his cousin wrecked approximately a half a mile away from that scene and that his cousin had been shot. Deputies arrived at Spring Apartments where they spoke to multiple witnesses and saw a male subject firing a gun towards the 2 other males at building 324. That was the 2 gentlemen that had the wreck, by the way. Other deputies arrived on the wreck scene and located a vehicle off the road in a wooded area. They further discovered the body of Tyquil Fleming lying across the front seat of the car with an apparent gunshot wound. Tyquil was transported to the hospital where unfortunately he died of his injuries. As the scene at the apartment complex was processed, investigators located 18 shell casings along with multiple vehicles and apartments that had been damaged by gunfire. During the investigation through phone records and social media accounts, 4 individuals were identified as witnesses in this case. Because of the victims contacted them before the shooting, 3 of the 4 individuals refused to cooperate with us and law enforcement to provide information regarding the death of their friend Tyquil Fleming. It was discovered that the victim, Tyquil Fleming, had been visiting at the Springs apartment. Also, the suspect in this incident was there. She was identified as Charlize Burgos. After the investigation, investigators attempted to speak to Mrs. Burgos on that morning of the shooting. She fled to New Jersey. We went to New Jersey and interviewed her. And later was able to charge her with several things. At this time, the shooting appears to be domestic related. A formal bond hearing was held because we found through our investigation that the investigators charged Malik Naeem Smith, aka Swish Money, with the murder of Tyquil Fleming, possession of a weapon during a violent crime, and attempted murder. Malik Smith was apprehended in Spartanburg on the 16th of March. This time the shooting appears to be domestic related, as I earlier stated, and a formal bond hearing for Mr. Smith was held on the 17th, where Judge Burns denied bond. At this time, an extradition hearing has not been held in New Jersey for Charlize Burgos, who was charged in the fugitive justice warrant. Once she's extradited, we should be able to get more information. Ms. Burgos was also charged with accessory before and after the fact of murder and accessory after the fact of murder regarding the death of Tyquil Fleming. This is the reason why I've called some people in the community to come stand with me on this. First of all, people wouldn't talk to us. The family did a great job helping us and giving us directions on who to talk to and where to go to. But the people on the scene refused to talk to us. Some of the friends that gathered there said, "No, we know who did it. We'll take care of it." And I'm like, that is just not okay. You know, this is not a movie. This is not something that you hit the reset button or you read the script over. This is a human being's life. It makes no sense why this young man was murdered. I got some pastors and some clergymen here that could get here kind of on the spur of the moment to talk about we have crime in our community and people are refusing to talk with us. I want to help you. I'm putting myself out there to help you. I said this in other press conferences and I'll say it again. It measures not if you like me, support me, or just even, whatever. It doesn't matter. What does matter is we got human beings, not cars and buildings. We got human beings being shot and killed at an alarming rate. And I'm getting no help whatsoever. We've reached out, tried. A lot of this is gang related. I'm not saying this one is, because I don't think it is. I think this is just some friends and what have you, but you gotta talk to us. You have to, because you are gonna probably be one of the next victims if you're not very careful. Well, we had a shooting recently at another apartment complex not very far away from here. Over 180 rounds was shot. There was tons of people out there. Nobody seems to have seen anything. You know, this poor child that got killed on that one, she didn't get a busted mouth. You know, Tyke Hill didn't get hit in the mouth, and you know, this was bad news, man. Bad. It's about as bad as you can get, especially to a family, especially his mother. And she's upset and hurting as to be expected. So I want you all in this county, you have to pray. And we got to do more than pray. We got to reach out and we got to start filling out how we can help our community. We just have to. This violence has got to stop. You know, I'm okay with people having guns. It's a Second Amendment right, but I'm also I've stated so many times, you got to be responsible for that stuff. And you know, cars are very dangerous, and you got to be careful of that too. We're talking about guns that are used in violent crimes, and we got to get that under control right now. I think one of the family members of Tyke Hill would like to say something. You know, if you want to, please direct your comments to me and ask me about some of the case, and just let her please make her statement. You have to tell them who you are, so they're going to ask, okay?
I am Miss McDowell, the aunt of Tyke Hill Fleming. He was my oldest nephew. I only have one sister, which was his mom. This has been a tough 37 days. The last time we saw Tyke Hill was February 10th of 2022. And all we could remember is the smile he would give to us. And I do want to say to the community, this is something we've never had to deal with before. And to be put in these shoes is very difficult. And even though we're people with a heart of forgiveness, and the words, "I'm sorry," will not bring back Tyke Hill. I do want to say that it seems like our society is being controlled by a green piece of paper. And that green piece of paper is money. Instead of us controlling it, it seems to be controlling society. Guns don't have eyes. And there are people who are deceitfully flattered. So we all have to be careful of who we entertain. Jealousy does kill. Hate kills. But it's time for it to stop. Our nephew didn't deserve what happened to him. He didn't deserve that. He just celebrated his 23rd birthday back on December 24th. Every day, all we can see is visions or pictures of his face. That's all we have left, because his life was cut short because somebody decided in their mind and went further with it and took his life. My sister has not slept very well. She has not been doing good with this. She has been reaching out to his friends. And all we want is justice for Tyke Hill. Tyke Hill can't speak for himself. He can't say nothing for himself. And we do want complete justice for Tyke Hill.
I'm Glenn Pete. I'm Tyke Hill's grandmother. This is a senseless death. You know, guns don't have no eye. And for the girl to get up and leave, knowing someone had got shot. For the guy that left, knowing he had shot somebody. I don't know what it's gonna take to get these guns off the street. I don't know what it's gonna take to get the gang members off the street. But you know, as church, just gather and members talk to their youth. We talk, but are they listening? I don't know what else to say. I watch my daughter, and it's a terrible thing. It's terrible to see her go through this. I called Tykel on a Thursday night. I said, "Boy, where you at?" He said, "Oh." He said, "Okay." I miss Tykel phone call. Grandma, where you at? Go see about my dog. Go feed my dog. Go give him water. But you know, this is something that you can't just get over with. You can't. And yes, I forgive the families because it's a lot of families involved. The parents didn't know. And they don't know what their kid doing or did their kid do this. They just heard it on the street. But we love Tykel and we gonna miss Tykel. But justice has to be done. And our neighborhood need to watch the crime that comes in our neighborhood. That's all I have to say.
You know, if you don't hear anything I said, please hear these two sweet ladies. I can't even imagine on the 24th of December every year from this point forward and with that hole. I don't even know what else to say to you. So I'm an employee in the community. I want you to get involved in your kid's life. And just because they're 22, 23, 24, 25, to me they're still kids and they're still learning. Be involved with their lives. I'll try to entertain questions, but I'm going to get some of the clergy and some of the people that I have here to come up here with me today if you want to ask those questions too. But I'll try to answer questions. Jesse?
Yeah, Sheriff, you were talking about people coming forward and the hesitancy for a lot of people to talk to you guys. Is that a problem that you've noticed, like, in recent years has gotten worse? And I'm also wondering if there's anything that you think could be done to, you know, get people to come forward to make them more willing to speak with deputies.
Yes, it is something that has increased over the past years. I mean, it's always been, you had one or two that didn't want to say anything, whatever. But it's to the point now where 30, 50, 60, 70 people are out there and nobody seems to see anything. That's not okay. You guys want to come on up, please? Come on. Jeff. We have a few ministers here. This is a very impromptu. I asked this gentleman to come and stand with me because it makes no difference to me if you call us. It don't make any difference whatsoever if you call us. It matters if you call some of the clergy. It matters to us if you call Crime Stoppers. You don't have to tell everything about your business. There's a number and a way to keep you out of it. Now, if you're an eyewitness to it, you're just going to have to step up and be a man sometime and say what's right, because if it was your family, and it will be, and I'm unfortunately speaking the truth, and I don't mean to be, but it is going to be your family if you keep on with this pattern, and then nobody wants to tell us. All right, the community sometimes gets angry with me because we're not solving crimes. Well, this is the reason why. We're willing. You know, our homicide investigators are willing. They put out the time, they pound the pavement, they go out there and they get talked to like they're dogs, and you know, we don't worry about that stuff because we are speaking for Tykel. He can't talk, but we are going to talk for him. You bet on it. And we're going to be heard. So I have some ministers here, and if you want to ask them any questions and they want to say anything, please feel free to. Dr. Jackson, would you like to say something?
Sure. Thank you, Sheriff. We want to encourage the community to get involved. It's important, especially when we speak to African American communities, to let us know that we cannot wait until another young African American female or male dies to speak out about this violence. And as Sheriff said, we can't allow indifference to prevent us from coming together as faith leaders of the community. We must come together for the better good. So I'm here because I know as a chaplain in the city, we see officers and we see deputies doing great things behind the scenes, and that's never publicized. So we cannot allow these stereotypes to silence our voices. So I encourage the communities to come together because it's horrific, not only for the officers, but as a pastor, when we have to minister to these families in the midst of a horrific and unnecessary death. So thank you, Sheriff. Thank you for all that you're doing to make our community better.
Thank you. Pastor Hamlin, would you like to say something?
Well, we're glad to have this opportunity to speak to this, because I think this is, we are fortunate in Spartanburg County, fortunate because of the attitude of our community, but also because of the support of our law enforcement. And this needs to be something that we do together as a team. And there is so much that is happening in our community, in our world, where we need to be responsible citizens. And there are people that are watching here, and people that are interested, and people care, and there are people praying right now for young people. And as leaders of the faith community, we think that's so very important. But it has to be even more than that. We have to be involved. We have to take responsibility, and we have to be there. And so what the sheriff does, in my estimation, and what I hear from the clergy all across our county, is that our law enforcement is willing to do that job, but we have to do our part. We have to pay attention, and it's time for us to do more than just saying tisk tisk and boy this is too bad, and that we need to be a part of that. And I would hope that all of our folks here and everyone who's watching would say, you know, there needs to be a way that I can do that I can step up, say what I know, be involved in this situation, be a part of the solution. Thanks, Sheriff.
Yeah, would you care to say anything?
Sure.
Thank you. This is Pastor Valentine, by the way.
I wear a couple of different hats. He's my boss at work, and I'm his pastor at church. So we have an interesting relationship. But you know, every Monday night we get our men together, and it's not about being just the men at our church. We have men from different places and different churches that join us. And we talk about the seriousness of men being men, and the breakdown of the family is what is causing all of these problems. It's not a white thing, it's not a black thing, it's not a Hispanic thing, it is a human thing.
Right.
And the breakdown of the family is what is causing most of our problems. These young men and young women who are out here that are tearing themselves apart, they're looking for a place to belong, and they're looking for a family to belong to. And if they don't get it at home, they're going to get it on the street.
That's right.
And what they get on the street is not what we need in this community. It's not what we need in this country. And I'm going to quote one of our men that comes to our men's group. He's not a part of our church, but he also works at our jail. And he says, you know, we got to start looking at people through Jesus' eyes. And we got to see people not for what the human eyes see, but we need to see them for what Jesus sees. And every life is valuable. Every life counts. And I'm calling on men everywhere to grow up and be men. Just because you have a child doesn't mean you're a father. The father needs to be in the home. The family needs to be a cohesive unit. And men, we have got to step up to the plate and do our job. And that is to be men, to be fathers, and to raise our children to be better than what we're doing now.
So you hear what the ministers are saying. It's time to do more than pray. It's time to get your feet going. I want you to know that injustice, no matter who serves it, is still injustice. And we don't like it. We're not going to tolerate it. we're gonna do more than pray. So I'm gonna challenge all the men that have sons, and if you and the mom can't get along, we'll pray that works out. But you still have to be a father. You still can be involved. You still can check on that young man or that young woman. You still can do it. Now, don't be defeated. There's hope here, and the hope starts with the men stepping up and being men. God bless moms and grandmas because they've been raising kids for a long time. We got to turn that, and we're going to. So, if you have any more questions, I'll be glad to try to answer some.
Yeah, Sheriff, just as far as details of the case, the people charged in this, do they have a prior criminal history, or is that something at this time that?
I'll let Kevin send that out. I don't know. It wasn't in my notes, so I just very seldom ask that because it doesn't matter if they've got a lengthy criminal record or if they're first-time offenders. It's still horrible.
Yep.
Anyone else?
And what about the guns too? Do you know if the guns were, or the gun or guns used in this were, like, registered to the shooter in this, or is
I'm
it?
going to go ahead and go out on a limb and say absolutely not, but I'll confirm that with Kevin.
Thank you.
All right. I want to thank the ministers for stepping up here. We have a lot of ministers that sent messages to our chaplain who sent it out and was going, look, family obligations, doctor's appointments, prior engagements and stuff. There's a ton of clergy and people in our community, leaders in our community that are certainly with us on this. So, I don't expect the people that are causing all the problems to be listening to me on TV. I really don't. But you know those people. And I'm challenging you and I'm asking for your help because I don't want your family to have to go through what this family's going through. This is rotten, man. I mean, that is not even a good word to describe it. So please pray for everybody and do something more besides just talking about it. Let's get involved.
If I could, sir, could I ask you an unrelated question too? There's been a lot of talk about the death penalty in South Carolina, and the firing squad is what seems to be what is going to be moved to now. I was just wondering if you had any thoughts about that, or just the death penalty in general, and as a sheriff, what it's like to try and push for people to get that, because I know it hasn't been used lately.
All I can tell you is on my side, we try to gather all the evidence and put together the case and let the solicitor's office go from that point forward, whether they go for the death penalty or go for life imprisonment. If you'd asked me this 15 years ago, it would have been like, heck yeah, kill them all. But man, when you get closer to Christ, and I'm not sure. I'm just not 100% sure one way or the other. I know the Bible says live by the laws of the land. I want to do what King Jesus tells me to do, but I'm not opposed to the death penalty. But I'm not so quick now to tell people, hey, you need to go away. So that's just something we just all got to pray about. And if we do that, it just has to be the right way to do it. So I don't know about the firing squad or whatever. I'm glad I don't have to make that decision.
Yeah.
Thank
Thank you, Sheriff.